So I'm going to break kayfabe for a moment here and say I don't feel very well at all, as Brad can confirm. Isn't that right, Brad?
Yeah, you're not feeling great, are you?
No, unfortunately, this is the only day we can record. So I had to go out and buy some medicine. So Brad, for when we start in this video, do you want to keep a shot counter in the bottom left-hand corner for people at home?
Yep.
Let's go. So I've already fucked up the joke about doing a shot counter in the bottom left-hand corner of the video, so fuck it, this is the second shot of the day. Right, done. Given that the most iconic and enduring image of Rick Astley is that of a dorky white guy, paler than a Colgate sandwich, dancing around in an oversized raincoat, it's probably going to come as a shock to some people watching at home that when people first heard Rick Astley on the radio, they thought he was black. So Brad, do you want to take a stab in the dark and try and guess why so many people in the 1980s assumed that Rick Astley was black?
I don't know. He's so white.
He's so white. He's whiter than me. It's ridiculous. Like, do you know what it reminds me of? How white he is. Like when you're on the character creator in Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and you can set the skin tone all the way to the brightest, and your character looks like a newly birthed dwarf star, just in human form. It's ridiculous. He's so white. But no, people thought he was a black dude. And do you know why?
Why?
I'll answer it for people now. It's because his voice is apparently too deep.
Oh.
People heard his astonishingly deep singing voice. Well, that's a black guy right there. Really? That's a black guy. Do you think a white guy is that funky? That's a good point.
Karl, you just flubbed a few takes there. I think
yeah.
It's time for shot number 3.
Oh, fuck's sake. It's a good shout. Okay. Baby needs his bottle. Yeah. Oh.
You're getting so flushed.
Did you hear the crack in that?
Crack.
You hear the crack. Do you think it showed up on the mic?
Oh, we'll find out, I
People
suppose.
don't believe that my neck... I think, oh, you're just trying to... No, it's like my neck actually... Because obviously I spent so long sitting on my laptop like that. When I stand up... And I remember once I was in a nightclub and I was chatting up a girl. And she's like, oh yeah. And I had that twang. I went... Oh yeah, and I was trying to like really like subtly do it, but I went to scratch my ear, and then I just went all the way around and went, "Badoo!" And she just walked off. It's like, oh, fuck's sake.
Just Zack Snyder on your own neck. So how many people actually thought that Rick Astley was black?
Quite a lot, because obviously if this was just a few people who heard him on the radio thought he was black at one point in history, that's not really a funny story. It is a funny story though if actual record executives who wanted to sign Rick Astley to their label thought Rick Astley was black, which is exactly what happened. And there are stories of Rick Astley walking into meetings with people who wanted to sign them to their label, shaking their hand and them not knowing who the fuck he is because they thought they were going to be meeting with a black guy.
Oh, I've got a headache now.
I know. You're getting a headache by fucking osmosis. You can tell how much bad... Because the thing as well, you get a headache, I've got 2 fucking spotlights, one for each fucking eye, that I have to, like, stare past. Oh, and the people say, oh, Karl, why do you blink so much? Why do you squint so much? Why do you, like, you got knife holes for eyes? Why do your eyeballs, like, keyholes turn sideways for most of these fucking videos? So I've got 2 giant fucking spotlights in my eyes. No one have got a drink to deal with this shit. Fuck's sake. Oh, I thought I dropped it.
I think you knocked it over then.
No.
Where's my shot counter?
Well, that's when you're editing. We got to edit this bullshit. Brad editing shot count. And then it just gets to a bit that's got a lot of long words in it. And it just shoots up like 30 because you're like, this took so long to edit.
I think the longest bit I've ever cut out, I think was 12 minutes. One take, 12 minutes.
Actually, no, because we beat that record. Because we tried to record this video when I was ill until we realised, you know what fixes Karl's illness temporarily? Booze! And we got some booze, and now I'm like, in a better mood, because obviously I can, think through the splitting fucking migraine I've got. The fucking Professor X must not fat migraine I'm now dealing with. But we were there, it took us 25 minutes to do the first line of this video, and we've got to fucking do something. We've got one day to record.
We deleted it and just gave you some alcohol.
And then, the thing is, that makes you sound so fucking abusive. Karl, we need a 3rd video, and I'm there like, if people could have seen me, I was there, I'm like rubbing my temples going, Brad, I do not feel well, but we need to do this video. And we just bought booze, and I went, well, I wanted to go to the gym today, but I guess I'll just get drunk instead.
Bring it back, though, to that meeting between Rick Astley and those record executives.
Yeah, that's one of those times in history I wish I could be a fly on the wall during, because that sounds like a horrendous but glorious train wreck. Because I want to know whether a record executive ever broached the fact they thought Rick Astley was black. Because I'm just imagining Rick walking in, wearing the same outfit he does in the video for Never Gonna Give You Up, because that's how I imagine he spent most of the 80s. Just walks in and shakes the record executive's hand. Hi there, I'm Rick. And the record executive puts his hand out and goes, the fuck is this, to his assistant? It's like, I don't know, sir, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I'm Rick Astley. I thought Rick Astley was a black guy. I thought he was, sir. It's like, hi there, Rick, how are you doing? It's like that moment in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where I think one of Will's cousins or something, like, he said, oh, my fiance's coming over, and the fiance's a white guy. And they all dance around the fact he's white by going, yeah, he's really tall, isn't he? Yeah, I didn't expect him to be quite so tall. And then Will Smith goes, am I the only one who noticed he was white? Now imagine like Will Smith was sat in that meeting because he was trying to get his career launched again with him and DJ Dazzy Jeff, and he went, am I the only one who noticed that guy wasn't black? It's like Will Smith was just there throughout all of music history. He was the Samuel L. Jackson, the Nick Fury of music history. But he was just there throughout all of it, asking out loud the awkward questions no one had the balls to ask. It's like that one, like, did anyone not notice that wasn't a black guy? And I was like, shut up, Will. Do you want to be confined to TV hell forever? It's like, no, I don't. I want to make albums again. Then he realised being acting is awesome. It's like, yeah, it's cool. Some fans of Rick Astley are known to have made a similar assumption about his race, and there are scattered reports from the 1980s of fans turning up to his concerts and becoming incredibly confused when Rick Astley walked out on stage and he wasn't the chiselled ebony Adonis they'd assumed that he was. We got one take of this, Brad, so you better make it fucking good. Right.
Oh, good God. So even Rick Astley's actual fans didn't know he was white. Oh my God.
Yep.
This is going to be so bad. I'm going to put all these little bits in the middle.
You better do. So people know, because people think we're lying, won't they? So we'll talk about that at the end. So go. 3, 2, 1.
So even his actual fans didn't know he was white?
Yeah, as if like random dipshits who heard him singing on the radio and record executives thinking he was a black guy wasn't annoying enough. Rick Astley's own fan base originally thought he was a black dude. There were reports of people going to his concerts and going, who the fuck is this guy? When he came out on stage and started singing like Never Gonna Give You Up or some of his other chart bangers. And my favourite part about that is people might be thinking, how is that possible? This is the time before the internet. People couldn't just Google Rick Astley. They just heard his name on the radio and thought, oh, I'll buy a ticket to this guy's concert. He sounds awesome, and turn up. And just this dude fucking turns up, like this guy, this skinny white guy in a fucking oversized raincoat turns up, starts belting out these songs they know. I'm like, who the fuck is this? So Brad, I think I've established by now that I fucking love my tangents, correct?
Yeah.
So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that the story of Rick Astley getting his start in the music industry and people thinking he was a black dude is eerily similar to that of Elvis. I know people out there probably now thinking, Karl, how dare you? How fucking dare you sully the name of a great artist by comparing them to Elvis? Shut up, Brad. This is going somewhere. But people who don't know, when Elvis first started making music, a lot of people assumed he was black too. And there's a great story about this where he first appeared on a radio station that was like predominantly aired in black neighbourhoods. Like they couldn't outright say that Elvis was white because like you weren't allowed to do that kind of thing back then. So what like the radio presenter did is they asked Elvis, which school do you go to? And he responded, blah, 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 blah school. And obviously that school was an all-white school. So that like subtly indicates to the audience, yeah, this guy's white.
Let's get to a point where I can smell it from here.
Shut up.
Rick Astley does have a very deep voice on those tracks. Oh, for God's sake.
I'll buy you another one, fuck it.
It's not about that. It's just that I know there's going to go past a certain point where this gets really hard to do.
No, it's fine, don't worry about it.
So was there anyone else who didn't think that Rick Astley's voice was actually his own voice?
Well, in addition to having to deal with like incredulous record producers and fans who insisted that the voice they'd heard on his records didn't belong to him, Rick Astley has also had to spend, I think, basically his entire career arguing with the press and journalists who insist that the voice heard on his records has been somehow artificially enhanced by digital trickery.
We all know for a fact the only reason you got that take right was to finish the shot.
He's right now.
And also there's been many bits cut out in between that where you're sipping the cup as well.
He's right now.
So are the press and journalists right about that? Has his voice ever been altered?
It has been altered, but not in a way that Rick Astley approved of, because on his earlier albums, they would layer his voice multiple times to make it sound louder. But Rick Astley himself has gone on record as saying, I think that makes the songs it's used in sound worse.
Wasn't that layering technique you were talking about? That was popular at the time, wasn't it?
It was, yes, and Astley has admitted that, layering vocals was popular in the 80s, but I personally don't feel it added anything to my songs because my voice is strong enough on its own, as any clip of Astley singing live will confirm.
So did this placate anyone at all?
Absolutely not, because so many people believe for so fucking long that Rick Astley was not the Rick Astley singing on the songs, and they believe that Rick Astley was a stand-in for some mysterious black guy that no one had ever seen or heard of, who wanted, for some reason, all of his songs to be credited to some skinny white dude.
So who do the conspiracists think this mysterious black guy was?
We don't actually know. All we know is that they thought that Rick Astley couldn't have possibly sung all these songs, so we got some mysterious black guy, we don't know, to sing all of his songs for him. Okay, Brad, I can't get this line out, so just, Brad, say it for me, please, while I take a drink.
Well, what Karl was trying to say was, he thinks it's pretty amazing that rather than believing that Astley was just that good a singer, people would buy into a conspiracy theory that he was secretly a giant black man in disguise, which would obviously explain the coat he wears in that video.
Hey.
So from this point onwards, I'm just not going to cut this.
Thanks.
It's going to be a full stretch, just 'cause I want people to see that you are actually a little bit drunk.
No, I'm a little bit drunk, yeah. I am a little bit, drunk, as they would say, in, the dictionary. The person who is not fully in control of their actions. I'm a little bit, oh God.
Show everyone how much you've actually drank, because I think, is it over half? Okay, it's well over half.
It's over half. I had to buy this from Brad. While we went through the, when my shirt just exploded off my body and disappeared, during that time where we were uploading this footage to where the fuck Brad...
Yeah, we ran out of space on the memory card because Karl messed up so many takes. So during that period, he took off his shirt, sat on my bed, complained a bit, and then paid me for the alcohol he's drank more.
Yeah, because I'm taking this shit home, because I'm drinking all tonight as well, because fuck it, I'm not going home drunk to sleep on my own. Fuck that shit.
Are you going to be careful with that, by the way?
It's mine now, I bought it!
I don't need to smash anything. You're actually pretty good at...
I worked in a fucking bar, you bellend! Look at that shit, oh!
Did you drink on the bar?
Yes!
Were you drunk while working then?
Yes.
Oh.
If people bought me a shot, I would drink that fucking shot. Because I was that fucking like, what? Oh, I caught it! Oh God, oh no, it's almost like Karl works in a bar, oh!
I think I'm going to stop this now. I'm going to...